Hello, I'm Dr. Alyssa Christoforou, naturopathic doctor at North Coast Family Health. Today's weekly health tip is all about detox. But why is it important to detox? Well, in today's modern world, we're exposed to toxins from every avenue. The water we drink, the food we eat, the air we breathe, the things we put on our skin, the things we use in our house. And toxins are emerging as an underlying cause in many of the diseases that we're seeing today. The first principle in any detox is to first identify the toxin and then stop the exposure. This is where it's really important to work with your physician to identify and test for exactly which toxins are on board. Are they heavy metals? Are they mold toxins, plastics, pesticides, and many more? And then knowing that what the toxin is, then you can stop the exposure. The second major principle is then to eliminate the toxins that already are in the body. And under this category, under this principle, there's 4 major ways to do that: diet, sweating, supplements, and then synthetic chelators. So diet. Your diet should be primarily plant-based, whole foods, and organic as much as possible. We want organic produce because we want to limit our exposure to things like pesticides and herbicides. We want organic, free-range, grass-fed meat and wild-caught fish to minimize our exposure to things like hormones, antibiotics, heavy metals, and other toxins that bioaccumulate up the food chain. Under the category of diet, it's really important to talk about fiber. And fiber has 2 main roles when we're talking about detoxification. First, it binds up fats, hormones, chemicals, heavy metals, and other undesirables in the intestine. It prevents them from getting absorbed, and it ensures that they're eliminated from the body with our stool. Fiber also prevents against constipation by keeping our bowel habits normal and regular. It's important to prevent constipation when we're talking about detoxing because anytime our digestion gets sluggish, a lot of that toxic waste matter is just sitting in our bowel, and a lot of those toxins are then reabsorbed into our body. The best sources of fiber are things like legumes and whole grains, but fruits and vegetables are good sources as well. You want to aim for anywhere between 30 and 50 grams of dietary fiber per day. If you can't reach this through food in your diet, you can always supplement with things like psyllium husk and flaxseed. You can start with about a half a teaspoon before meals and gradually work your way up to 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoons before meals. We want the fiber there before meals because we want it there before the meal hits and before the bile comes. Both the food that we're ingesting and the bile bring with it its own toxin load, so the fiber that's already there is going to bind those up and again ensure that it's eliminated with our stool. Speaking of bile, the liver is a major detoxifying organ. Everything that we absorb through our guts, the good and the bad, first goes through our liver before it's redistributed to the rest of the body. So doing things that support the liver and its detoxification properties and its ability to make bile are ultimately going to help you with detox. So foods to include in the diet, like black radishes and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, collard greens, Brussels sprouts. These vegetables are really rich in a compound called glucosinolates that help the liver with detoxification and help promote bile flow. You want to get about a half to 1 cup of these vegetables at every meal. Other foods that are great for liver are things like lime, lemons, beets, artichokes, burdock and dandelion root, and it's good to include these daily as well. The second major category to detox is sweating. Most toxins are excreted very well in sweat, so engaging in activity where you're sweating daily is going to be important in any good detox. You can sweat through things like exercise, high or moderate to high intensity, hot yoga classes, hot Epsom salt baths, or sauna, either dry sauna or infrared sauna. If you're not someone that typically sweats easily, or if you're intolerant to heat, you'll want to start slowly and work your way up. So maybe start with 20 or 30 minutes of sweating per day and then gradually build up to 1 or 2 hours, depending on the intensity of your detox protocol. The third category is supplements. So for the liver, we already talked about ways to support it through diet, but there's also ways to support it nutraceutically to give that extra boost and to really help detoxifying its detoxifying properties work as optimally as possible. So this includes vitamins, like your B vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and carotenoids, which are your precursors to vitamin A. It includes minerals like magnesium, zinc, and selenium. It includes amino acids like glutamine, glycine, and taurine. And then botanicals like milk thistle, dandelion, burdock, turmeric, and ginger. There's also supplements that we can use as binders. Binders that work directly in the gut, so in addition to fiber, things like bentonite clay, cholestyramine, or activated charcoal. It also includes cellular binders that directly go into cells, bind up toxins, and remove them out of the cells. So things like glutathione, N-acetylcysteine, or alpha-lipoic acid. The fourth major category is synthetic chemical chelators, so DMPS, DMSA, or EDTA. These may be an important thing to bring on board when you're dealing with toxicity from heavy metals. As always, it's very important to do a physician-guided detox for the reasons we already mentioned at the beginning of the video. Really identifying the source of exposure, identifying which toxins are on board, and then coming up with a safe and effective protocol to safely mobilize them and then eliminate them from the body. I encourage you to call the clinic for a free 10-minute consultation with me. I can answer any questions you have about detox and see how detox can be part of your healthcare plan. Thank you.